Most people know every street in their neighborhood, even the ones they never use. But in the quiet district of Riverlow, there's a road that no one remembers until it's too late. It doesn't show up on maps, doesn't appear in postal routes, and yet, every time someone dies in the area, someone claims to have seen it, just for a moment. A narrow street tucked between buildings that shouldn't have space for anything in between. Wet even on dry days. Lampposts that flicker without electricity. No signs. No numbers. And at the end of the street, a door. Always the same. Rusted black iron, arched like the entrance to a mausoleum. Those who've seen it describe a coldness that follows them afterward, like they've been marked. And every single one without exception starts waking up at 3:17 a.m., gasping for air. It was first mentioned in a local obituary archive. A nurse named Eliza J. reported seeing the street while walking home from a double shift. It wasn't on her usual path, as he said. It just opened beside her, like fog peeling away from bricks. A child walked into it, silent, unnoticed. When she turned to call out, the street was gone. Eliza filed a report. She was found dead 3 weeks later, collapsed in her kitchen. No visible cause, but her neighbor told authorities something strange. On the night she died, a black door appeared in the alley behind the building only. For a moment, only for her, said it looked like it had been waiting. After that, stories multiplied. A man saw it after a fatal accident at the corner. A woman saw it in the distance after a stranger died on her bus. Always brief, always followed by nightmares and the sound of soft knocking. 3 knocks, 3:17. No one talks about it openly now. It's become a taboo. It's a death street, they call it, if they mention it at all. But urban legends don't survive unless they're fed. In Riverlow, something is clearly hungry. Records show an uptick in unexplained deaths, heart failure, aneurysms, untraceable seizures. Residents report feeling watched at night, cold drafts in sealed rooms, dreams of walking endlessly toward a door they can never reach. Drew the street in school? Every detail accurate, cobblestones, door lamps. His parents swear he's never been there, but he insisted. It's where Grandpa went. The teacher threw the drawing away. The next morning it was back in her desk. Slightly different. This time, the door was open. The first time someone tried to time it was after a fatal car crash on Brooklyn Avenue. A local researcher named Martin Cobb had been tracking death reports and their correlation to the appearance of the mystery street. After the accident, he placed 4 synced recorders along a back alley where the street had allegedly appeared before. He activated the timers the moment the death was confirmed by emergency responders. Exactly 317 seconds later, 5 minutes and 17 seconds, the air shifted. Lights in the alley flickered despite no bulbs installed. The temperature dropped, and one of the recorders caught faint footsteps over cobblestone, even though the ground was paved. No street was visible to the eye, but in the thermal image, a dark corridor had opened, frigid, narrow, and lined with rectangular shapes. One of them seemed to be moving. Martin published his findings anonymously in an online forum. He called the phenomenon the threshold loop. He proposed that the street docentity exists in our space until a death creates an opening, and that the opening always lasts exactly 317 seconds. After that, it vanishes completely. His thread was deleted within 24 hours, but copies circulated. A paramedic confirmed hearing whispers after a patient's last breath. The whisper didn't come from the patient. It came from the hallway. She said it repeated something over and over, soft and high-pitched. It's open now. Another witness, a woman caring for her dying father, said she saw a new shadow under the door. What? It didn't move. It didn't flicker. It was shaped like a child. That same week, a janitor cleaning out an abandoned building near Riverlow claimed he found a door where no door had ever been. Behind it, a dead-end corridor with old bricks and a flickering lamp, the smell of dust and roses. As he stepped in, he felt dizzy, like gravity shifted. The lights blinked. When he turned back, the door was gone. He woke up in the same hallway, but the corridor was now sealed. No lamp, no smell. Just silence, and on the wall, scratched in chalk, 317 seconds. He quit the next day. moved out of the city. Said the dreams didn't stop. In them, he walks that street over and over. It's always cold, the doors never open. But he knows something behind them is waiting for him to come back. The pattern deepened. A hospice worker named Dana Reeves began logging the precise time of her patient's passing. She didn't tell anyone why. She just wanted to know if it was real. Over 2 months, she recorded 12 deaths. Every single time, her clock froze exactly 317 seconds after the final breath. Sometimes the lights flickered. Sometimes the ceiling creaked. Once, her phone rang with no caller ID, and on the other end, a child's voice whispered, "Is it my turn?" Dana started to keep her windows shut. She began leaving salt under the door. What scared her most wasn't what she said, was what her patients said in their final moments. Phrases like, "I see the door," or "they're waiting in the street," and once, simply, "Don't follow the footsteps." Eventually, Dana stopped working nights. But the street didn't stop appearing. A neighbor with a drone filmed the alley beside the hospice center one evening. At exactly 5 minutes and 17 seconds after a documented death, his drone caught a thin slit of shadow stretching between the building's impossible geometry, like the air itself was folding. Frame by frame, it showed an arch forming. For less than 6 seconds, the image showed something inside, something that looked back. He never posted the video. He deleted his account, but others saved it. An independent analyst enhanced the footage and claimed there was a figure visible in the doorway. Not just watching, but beckoning, with one hand extended. Then, at frame 190, the signal corrupts. The street vanishes. After that, locals stopped calling it the Death Street. They started calling it the Return, as if it was less about leaving him, more about being claimed. People began to report things missing after seeing the street. Shoes left outside vanished. Photos faded. Names forgotten. One man said he looked into his mirror after walking near the alley and didn't recognize his own face. Others said he watched himself walk away and never saw that version return. And perhaps the strangest incident, a small girl went missing, and her parents found only one thing in her room: a drawing of a narrow street, a dark door, and above it, scrawled in crayon, "Mommy, I followed the voice." By now, it wasn't just Riverlow. Reports started emerging from neighboring districts. All of them the same: a sudden chill, a street that appears for a moment and disappears when someone blinks. A man in Marlow Heights saw the alley open near his building after a neighbor's suicide. He described the sound of shoes on wet stone and bells ringing softly in the distance. He recorded an audio file, but when he played it back, it wasn't his voice narrating. It was a child's, telling a story about a door that doesn't open until you forget your name. And behind the door, something with long arms and no mouth, waiting. Meanwhile, in a hospital downtown, an entire hallway was sealed after staff reported seeing a door that no blueprint accounted for. Surveillance footage was missing 317 seconds. Nurses described hearing breathing like someone hiding in the ceiling. A staff member fainted after claiming to see herself walking into the door and never walking out. She was released the next day. But her husband later told friends she had stopped answering to her own name, and at night she sits facing the window, eyes wide, as if listening to something that only she can hear. Patterns emerged. Reports came in from people who had never seen the street, but had dreamed about it. Some said they woke up with chalk dust on their hands. Others with cuts shaped like keys. One man claimed he dreamed of a door opening and was found the next morning on the floor, with a line of dirt across his chest and the word 17 left written in his bathroom mirror. No one could explain what it meant. But when investigators checked, his building had had 16 previous deaths in the past decade. No one wanted to be number 17. And yet, the question hung in the air. What happens when the number runs out? The answer came one cold Tuesday morning. A maintenance worker named Silas was found unconscious behind a local elementary school. No injury, no trauma. Just a look on his face like he'd seen something too large to fit in his mind. In his jacket pocket, a crumpled map, hand-drawn, showing a street no one recognized. Every building was labeled with a number. The last one was circled in red, number 17. And beneath it, scrawled hastily, "One more." Silas never spoke again. He stares at corners, voids, mirrors, And once, in the hospital, a nurse saw him writing something on the bedsheet. A single word: opened. The city tried to erase the story. They sealed alleys, demolished buildings, rerouted roads, but the reports didn't stop. One woman walked her dog past an alley and saw a street where there should be a wall. She blinked, and it was gone. But when she got home, she found her childhood drawings spread across her bed, ones she didn't remember ever making. Another man said he followed a strange echo through a parking garage, only to come out on a cobblestone road under black sky. He turned around. There was no door, just a whisper. Welcome back. Some say the street was never a place. It's a memory. A test. A warning. Or maybe ... an invitation. Maybe death isn't the end. Maybe it's the trigger. And what waits behind that door isn't a monster. It's something worse. Something that once was human and chose not to return. They say the street only appears when someone dies. But what no one asks is, does it come for the dead or for the living who are next?